I mean, I get what you're saying. You're saying that you can have a really good cake, like make it properly, best ingredients, everything, and then when it's done, you cover it in dog shit.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter how good cake is under it, because still a cake covered in dog shit.
Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Movie Time. And today we have been watching a movie called Gamer, which is a movie that was released in 2009 and was directed and also written by two guys called Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. This movie is kind of special in a way because it was pretty much unwatchable.
It's
literally.
It's insanely chaotic. Everything.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can find much enjoyment without getting like sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can get more into that later, but that's just pretty much
Yeah.
the whole.
You don't have to listen anymore.
No, just don't watch this movie. Okay, no, but let's go into the characters. We usually go through the characters and then the plot, and then we move into a spoiler section where we discuss possible scenes and other things that we don't like or
find notable.
Yeah, or have opinions on. So we start with our main character, which is a guy called Kable. He's not gay. He has a wife, and this Kable guy has been
Cable guy.
Cable is his.
I just got a whole other view of this movie.
Yeah, pun intended.
But Cable is basically his gamer name. I think his real name is John Tillman.
Yeah. But he's referred to Cable within the game at least, and this Cable guy has been stuck in a sort of game. It's a PvP game, first shooter game. I don't know how we should be more
first
precise.
shooter PvP. I think.
Maybe we actually should go in a bit more about the basic plot and setting before we speak more about characters, because I think it would be less confusing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the plot first then.
So it basically a world, a modern society, where this kind of tech genius that was called Castle.
Yeah.
He developed a technology which allows you to use nanocells planted inside people's brain to both control them and be controlled. So with that technology, he first creates this simulator thing where people can sign up to both be controlled and control and do whatever you want with that, really.
Yeah, they're controlling real people.
Yeah, so it's real people in the real world.
This place where they control people first is called society.
Yeah.
And that's more of a meet and greet place.
And
Life simulator.
I would like to add here that when the people are controlled, they still have their own thoughts and are able to talk, some of them.
Yeah, they seem to have some sort of
they
awareness.
don't seem like empty shells.
No. So they sign up for this. So there's the society people are working for the society. They allow themselves to be controlled by anonymous players. So we follow this guy who is controlled by a kid.
Yeah, but
that's different from society.
That's
that's
different
not
because after this, Castle made like a spin-off version of this called Slayers, and Slayers is basically a battlefield game with the same kind of technology. It's only that the people playing are prisoners that are on death row, and instead of getting that punishment, they can choose to instead take apart this game, so people can get enjoyment both of controlling them like soldiers on the battlefield and for people watching it for entertainment.
And the reason they do this is that the deal is if they survive 30 rounds, they are freed.
Yeah.
So our main focus is the Slayers game. mostly.
Yeah, because the main character, Cable guy, Tillman, he is one of those.
But this Cable guy has been controlled by Simon.
Now you did it again.
And Simon is a player. And it seems like Simon is a very good player. But the one thing I don't really get my head around of is how much in control Cable are and how much control Simon are.
Yeah,
because they two are connected.
Because Cable is really aware. It's noticed.
Yeah, he knows.
He actually talks to Simon. They communicate with each other.
Later in the movie. For reasons. But also they try to explain this within the movie. They have like a short dialogue where Cable and a prison guard are talking about this, and the guard asks, so how does this connection work? And he basically says, well, the player is the eyes, but I am the trigger finger. Basically, I do the things, but he controls my eyes.
Yeah, but that I don't really get.
No.
How is that an efficient way to work together? That Simon is the eyes and the Cable guy is controlling himself.
I don't know.
But
then Simon is watching, and for the Cable, but
you can clearly see at some places in the movie how Simon moves his hands and aims when the Cable guy aims and shoots his weapon. So Simon has some sort of control with his hands.
Yeah, but that is my point. It's not really clear how it works. No, for me at least.
No, it's not really. It's not explained very well.
No, but if you take the society thing,
there it's pretty obvious.
There it's very obvious that the people working for society that are controlled by anonymous users, they have no control whatsoever of their own body. They are aware what's going on, so you can see some sort of, deadness in their eyes for doing what they're doing or being told. But there's very clear. But it's not clear in the Slayer part of the game.
There we also have a scene where Tillman is explaining to the prison guard again that it's easiest when Simon isn't controlling him, because when Simon controls him, then there is the so-called ping, like the delay between the player and
exactly.
And that's lethal on the battlefield. So it seems like the easiest thing would be if there were no players at all.
Yeah, but every player should have the same problem, though.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, well, okay, that's our main. And then we have some other mentionable characters. We have the reporter. And you meet her in the beginning of the movie. She's interviewing Ken Castle. And you can kind of get her view on it, that she doesn't really like the society or the Slayer. Especially the Slayer part of the game. So she's very critical towards him. So you kind of get the sense of where she's standing on the whole question.
Yeah, but she's also a reporter looking to cash in on all the stories. So she's kind of in the middle, I feel.
But it's still very clear where she stands in the issue.
For me, it was very clear that she was against it. Even though the whole program was sponsored by Slayers or Society, whatever it was. Yeah. Quite obvious. And then we have the reason for Cable to break free, and that is his family, Angie and his kid Delia. Mm-hmm. It's always the same thing, but that's the reason that he wants to break free at least. They are not really much in the movie. It's more of a...
They are his motivation. But
that's the only motivation. That's the only reason they're there.
Well, we follow his wife a bit. Yeah, she is a society controlled girl.
Yeah, exactly. She's our
look into the society game, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she's been controlled with this really fat guy.
Yeah, not only
Christ.
fat, like really disgusting. You can really see how they have tried to make him as disgusting as possible.
They really capture him being like the most disgusting thing I have ever seen in a movie, and that's including Star Wars, with the
and Human Centipede.
Let's not stretch it.
Because it's not just the fat thing, it's everything about it.
He's eating some bread with
it's his mannerism in general.
Yeah, and he's sweaty and he's naked.
Like jerks off to everything.
Oh, he's really nasty. And that's like the worst possible person to ever control anyone. And of course that's Angie then, his wife. And then we have Simon, which we mentioned a short bit. That's his only deal is that he's controlling Kable. He's getting in some sort of trouble, but you don't really care about him.
He's a 17-year-old kid that buys Kable as a character with his dad's money.
Yeah, and supply him with some sort of guns and whatnot. And then we have Terry Crews, who for me is always likable, but in this movie it was really strange.
I think he did a good job with what he had, but...
Yeah, but it's nothing wrong with him.
The character was a bit off.
There's nothing wrong with how he acts, but like everything else in this movie just felt strange.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Every scene he was in was some sort of blinking madness.
And it was pretty... And his role in the movie was pretty random, I think. Yeah. It was hard to get what was going on.
Yeah, but he is like sort of a hitman in this movie. He works for Castle in order to take Kable out because he's closing up on this 30 rounds deal where he gets to be free. And Castle doesn't like that.
The Kable guy is almost at 30 victories and then he'll be set free. And this guy, Castle, he does not want that to happen for some reason, so that's why he's doing everything to stop him from winning his 30.
Yeah, it becomes very clear that he didn't want anyone to succeed to get his deal.
No. But let's move into the spoiler section because there's a bit stuff that we can talk about regarding this. So we're in the spoiler section now.
Should we start with camera work or?
I mean, the camera work is a big deal in his movie.
Yes.
And it's a big deal because it's the worst thing I have ever seen.
It's what ruined the movie, really.
Yeah. And, the sad thing about it is that it's clearly expensive special effects. So they wasted money on it, and still it was just annoying. So it was not just a low budget thing.
It was really hard to watch.
The basic problem is that every scene is edited or filmed in a way that makes you jump from a situation to another situation to another situation to a third, 5, 6, 7 situations under 3 seconds. So it's like everything is happening at once and you try to follow and it's the screen is blinking on you this entire time and you can't watch the TV.
And it's shaking as well.
It's shaking, yeah.
And I know
the scenes that are still, they are too dark.
Yeah.
And I know what they are going for. They want to show that it's really chaotic out there and everything, but it's just too fast and too blinky. It ruins it.
They want to create the illusion of him being in this mayhem where everything is going to happen. He can be shot in the back from every possible angle or whatnot. And they try to recreate that in this thing that there's a lot of people standing and shooting in different areas of this playground. And because of that, everything is happening at once, and it's impossible to follow. And they kind of move around. They don't really have this consistency of how to film it. They can. For me, it would have been perfect just to film it in some sort of first-person view.
That would be
where you follow him and he can watch maybe from Simon's side
or third-person view.
Yeah, as long as you.
Keep it that way.
They had some part of a scene for like a couple of seconds that was pretty nice.
Yeah, exactly.
It lasted like 10 seconds and that was the best shot scene in the entire movie.
The rest was just chaotic. It was impossible to follow. I just caught myself looking into my hand because I wasn't able to look at the TV directly because I was just motion sickness.
If you have problem with motion sickness, absolutely do not watch it.
No, it's not
or if
me.
you have trouble with blinking lights.
if you have epilepsy, do not.
No, actually, they should have a warning at least because it's a real concern.
Yeah, even PS4 has that warning every time you start it.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that I am actually twitching a bit, and I don't have epilepsy. This was extreme.
Yeah, I'm feeling sick after watching the movie, and not sick after watching a Saw movie. I'm feeling sick because I'm watching a motion sickness movie. It's like doing PSVR where the ship is spinning around and you just keep vomiting or something. I don't know. It's like it's you can't follow it. It's horrible.
At the same time, you try to follow the story and all the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy.
You want to watch the movie because you want to give it a fair review, but it's impossible because you can choose between being sick for the rest of the day or watch this movie so we can do this review.
But we saw the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
But we had a break in the.
Yeah, we had to.
And I actually had to close my eyes for 10 minutes or so, but otherwise we saw it.
I found myself breathing too, like try to release this feeling that you have that you're motion sickness, try to control yourself or something. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
Yeah, so we could stop the review and say, do not watch this movie because it's horrible. But we're going to continue. Because the way they're filming it is... when you know movies where people are taking drugs and they try to, illustrate for the viewer how the person is experiencing this. That they're messy, it's a lot of strong colors and the everything is like bending or, It's kind of like that, the whole movie. I mean, the worst part of the movie was when they entered the rave party. Jesus Christ. He didn't take any drugs, but my view on it was that he did.
It is like a big drug haze, and people have sex like everywhere.
Yeah, so if you want to see boobs, I guess you can see.
No, if you want to see boobs, watch a porno.
Watch a porno. Watch a porno, man.
Yeah.
At least you won't get any epilepsy sessions or anything from that.
Unless you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, then you can watch this.
It was like a filmatization of a bad trip or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Really,
and it was like this the entire movie. I mean, I never ever experienced anything like this.
I it's weird to say that there is too much sex.
Yeah.
I would never complain about that anywhere.
I usually have no problem with that.
But it was too much.
Yeah. It's so out of context also in some situations.
Yeah, but let's talk a bit about the sex in the movie. Because let's say that you're an anonymous user and you control another person. You can do whatever you want. You're going to do sex stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in a way, they kind of catch that. But the weird part about this is that they have this amazing game, but the characters is moving in a strange way, or it's kind of glitchy in that way, which I found a bit strange. But they try to create. I know they want to have the illusion that this is a game and it's not a real thing, but I think that's a bit strange.
What frustrates me most is actually that this movie is actually pretty good on paper with like the premise and the concept and everything. It's just that the execution is so bad that it destroys everything.
Not only that, it has a couple of good actors too in it, so it could have been great.
There is nothing wrong with the acting really. It's just the way the camera work and the execution of the movie and everything.
So they had the budget and the potential, but they blew it pretty much.
And I also didn't really react in plot holes or anything like that, because it's not a problem. The movie
but I don't think we cared enough either, because it lost, because we couldn't watch it properly. We couldn't invest in the characters and stuff as we probably could in a normal movie.
Yeah, I mean, normally would reflect of the fact that this guy he drinks down a whole bottle of rum or whatever it is, and then he goes and he vomits into the gas tank of a car and uses that to drive.
Yeah,
but given the big picture of the movie, that's not really something reflective, because there are way bigger problems than this.
Exactly. And I was dizzy by then. I barely reflected over it, actually.
But that's a good point, actually. The movie distracts you from the movie.
Yeah,
you're not even focused on what's happening, because you just try to survive the scene and not like throw up or anything.
Because that's a typical thing that if this was a normal movie and a normal movie review, that's when we would pounce at and like we would point out how stupid that is. Yeah. But now it's like
we don't care.
We don't care,
and we would actually laugh about that. I think if we were watching the movie, I would not. I did not smile even a little bit watching this movie because something did something dumb or they made a joke or anything. Because I could only focus how bad it was.
Yeah, and it starts shaking and blinking like 2 seconds in, so you can't even start to enjoy it.
There is a scene where he's just driving a motorcycle from one place to another, and you can't even watch that because it's just jumping around.
1,000 different angles in like 10 seconds.
It's like, okay, we have 20 cameras at this motorcycle, so we need to use everything, otherwise we're spending money and we're not using it.
But nothing happens during the motorcycle scene either, so it's totally pointless.
Yeah.
It could have been one camera following the motorcycle, nothing else. Or don't have that freaking scene in the first place.
It was not necessary. They could just, let's get on a motorcycle. And then the next scene, they were at the place.
Yeah.
We don't need to see a jumping asshole driving a motorcycle.
And I just don't see why they have to make so many rooms so dark. And they're just like, when people are talking with each other, the rooms are often so dark you can barely see the characters. No, there's no reason for it like that.
Who is talking to who?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, because in the locker room with Terry Crews, I mean, you can barely see that it's Terry Crews. I mean, it's just some sort of blackness. It's only... It's so dark, you can't see anything.
You can barely see the others.
I first noticed it was him because of the voice after a couple of minutes before I even saw him. So.
It's the same later when Cable Guy escapes and he meets like the hacker group in that underground bar or whatever it is, the arcade or whatever. It's also really dark. You can barely see the faces of people he's meeting.
Why do you think they chose to have such dark theme in certain parts of the movie?
Maybe it's supposed to be edgy to luring gamers or something. I have no idea.
They are trying to go for something like that.
It feels like they're trying to do a lot of like surrealistic choices and make things as abstract as possible, but
yeah, because it feels like instead of trying to focus on doing a good movie, they're trying to make weird art out of everything.
Yeah. Every scene was weird art.
Yeah.
Every scene was like a David Bowie musical video or something.
Also, in many of the scenes, I would like to mention the attempts to weird jokes also that appeared randomly. Like at one point when a dog pissed on a woman's foot. I don't know what that was.
But that's some sort of... It's like the opposite of jump scares. It's like something that's very serious for a long period of time, and then just like walk into a scene where something stupid is happening, and you should react to that.
I don't think that really worked out because it was also just weird.
I mean, it can work, but
it did not.
No, that doesn't work because you come back to the.
There was also part of a jumping.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird editing. It's like the idea is good.
I think that this movie actually has pretty good messages. There's also this one scene where this fat guy who's controlling Cable Guy's wife and this crazy killer Hackman, they're standing in an elevator, and Hackman is threatening them with threatening 2 random people with a knife, and the fat guy controlling Cable Guy's wife tells him to do it. And I think that the message I'm trying to say here is that he is a horrible person, but he can be because he's not actually there. He's like controlling someone, and that brings out the worst in him.
It can also be that he is so into the whole gaming thing, so he doesn't even think about it being real people, because to him it is just a game.
It might be, but the point is that on paper I think that's a pretty good message, because I think that if this kind of technology could be a thing, I think it would kind of go down like that people that would be controlling someone would like loosen their morals because it wouldn't actually be them doing it.
Actually, I think it's the same principle of people who come with rape threats over internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's Alan's point, is that when you're behind a computer, you're protected by that, and you can write to whomever, whatever, and that's what I think the movie is trying to visualize.
That's one of the big messages.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a good thing, because and that's like a real gamer thing. It's like what people can relate to, and it's a bit of, it has like this deep message, which is very good. I also like how they users in society so colorful and strangely clothes, because that's what you would have done with your character. You would have made it like look ridiculous, and you would walk around to people and just making jokes about sex or asking them for sex or that's bad, but that's what I would have done. I'm acting crazy because I can't do it in real life, and then I do it in a game.
Yeah, because it has good concepts.
Yes, exactly.
It just doesn't work because of the camera.
No, you don't. You don't put so much focus on it. You don't put as much thought on it that you would have done if it wasn't because of the stupid editing and the camera work.
No, but at the core, it's very thoughtful about human nature and how it works. But execution was just so bad in the movie, sadly.
Exactly. So we don't need to talk about the acting or the costumes, or actually mention the costumes, but the fighting scenes and the choreography or the CSI or the effects, because it's all good. It's not the problem. Everything is really. I mean, one thing you could discuss is perhaps the following the story or the jumping around too much.
But everything jumps around too much. You can't care. You don't care.
No.
Yeah, and you can't catch a break because it's all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the slow scenes are jumpy and weird. So
yeah,
I have a suggestion that you would like slow down the movie.
Yeah, watch it in like 0.25 speed or something.
Perhaps it would have been easier to watch and maybe.
Yeah, but then it would never.
If you would like write down the story, what happened from beginning to end, then it's actually pretty simple and it would be very easy to follow. It's just that the way that they have filmed it becomes very hard to follow because it's hard to figure out what exactly is going on.
And it takes a long time. Yeah, it's like you mentioned earlier about the motorcycle scene. They could have just taken that away and make a shorter movie with exactly the same message.
Because it's not about that. It's not about how they're moving around or...
It's so sad. It's gonna be a really good movie with a good message, but for some reason they chose to indulge themselves in these chaotic action scenes.
When we first started, after a bit, when we have been watching the movie and we took a break, we discussed it a bit that we felt bad for the scriptwriter because he had a good idea and he probably wrote it down well and whatever, and it was the director's fault or editing's fault, but...
It was the same guy.
It was the same guy, so apparently that was their vision, that they wanted it to be chaotic.
This is what they wanted.
Maybe the producers or something has something to do with it, I don't know.
Maybe, but I don't know.
Something went terribly wrong at least.
Because if you were to... I think they have a lot of known faces in form of actors in this movie, which I get, because if you were to send this script to someone and they would read it, they would probably think this is an awesome movie, this is an awesome idea. But I think if you were to ask them, I think that they would. I don't think they would like the outcome of this movie.
No. We were actually excited for it because we read on the back and we thought it sounded really cool actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The idea is good. Yeah. So it's nothing like that.
I was even concerned that it would turn out to be a good movie, since we usually watch bad ones, but it did not turn out to be that.
I actually thought that this would be one of the top movies, because I was thinking before we started watching this movie, like, damn, maybe this movie is going to be so good it doesn't really fit our theme, and it maybe turn out to be a 10. But thank God that wasn't the case.
Is it really? Thank God.
I mean,
I would rather see a 10 movie than a...
Yeah, okay, you mean like that,
but I mean, 10 movie here.
Yeah, but it's hard to have like a rating system between 0 and 10 if the 10 is like really good.
Yeah, I know.
And so you can't have the 0 to be Robo Geisha and the 10 to be Titanic or anything. It doesn't really make sense. But that wasn't the case. So that movie, the gamer movie, fit our theme perfectly, because after 15 minutes I have decided the rate of this movie. Because of the camera work, not because of anything else.
Yeah, same here. And that opinion didn't change throughout the movie.
No. They could have, if it would have stopped being so jumpy, it might have saved it more, but it never stopped jumping at all.
It was a real relief when, for instance, when it came to that scene where the policeman is interrogating Simon because he helped the cable guy to escape.
Yeah.
But he didn't really do that. But he was accused of it, and you felt really relaxed because this was a calm scene. The policeman was just talking to him, and you could just relax and take a break from the movie. And then after the scene, they went back to this crazy jumping bullshit. Yeah. Okay, so should we rate it, or do you want to take up any other scene that you remember?
I don't know what else I would say.
No, I think.
We can talk about the end. I mean, what did you think about the ending?
I didn't get it.
Well, I think I got it, but it was better than the rest of the movie because it wasn't as jumpy and chaotic, at least, and no blinking lights. But the conclusion felt a bit, shall I say, far-fetched.
Yeah, it felt like an anticlimax.
Yeah.
A bit, because it wasn't very satisfying at all. I don't think so.
Because the ending is pretty much that the castle guy is able to transmit signals to everyone, because everyone else is only receivers. There's some different techniques there, and by him transferring signals all the time, he can tell people what to do, which I thought was pretty cool, because castle guy then forces him, the cable guy, to basically kill his own daughter, which I thought was very dark, but pretty cool in the same way, because you didn't really expect that, because this castle guy is really dark. He's really dark, and maybe need to be this dark in order to come up with the idea for people to kill themselves in not really real life, but in real life.
It felt like he was a very stupid villain towards the end, because if you had the kind of power and influence he had finally at that point, I sure as I wouldn't risk it dying to my enemy by having him that close.
No, why would he be there at all? He could have been on a screen somewhere.
Yeah, he could have been on a screen and have his henchmen just like torture him whatever he want, but no, he was in knife range, so the main character could just stab him.
But he said that he needed to be in some sort of range.
But then it could be up on a balcony or something.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, it could of course be in a safe place.
It's just that he said that he could control like 150 million people or something soon, and basically control the world. And like, he chose to gamble all that on this, and he died.
Yeah, but I didn't really get it. Why was Simon able to control Cable at the end and saving him from killing his daughter?
One of the hackers and the journalist or whatever, TV host, they were able to hook up Simon to Cable Guy again through the base of the hackers.
But weren't all the hackers killed?
Yeah, but those two were left. And they made it possible for him to connect back to Cable.
Okay.
But I don't know why or how, really. But they showed it in like a 2-second scene.
Yeah, because that's when the good ending stopped being a good ending. Was when he got hooked up and he was able to stop himself from killing the daughter with help of Simon, and then end up killing Castle instead. It was very not satisfying because
I thought it was kind of a cool idea. The thing that what Castle thinks he makes other people do.
Yeah, I like
and
it.
So they made him think, well, what if you think that I'm going to stab you? Just picture my knife into you. So because he says that to him, he can't help himself but to think about it. So that's why it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that.
That's why he finally managed to stab him in the end, because he made Castle actually imagine it.
I missed that. That's pretty cool, actually.
It's actually a pretty smart thing.
Yeah, because when you're in a room and you say, don't think about an elephant, you think about an elephant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's actually cool. I missed that. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, I think we should rate the movie. Who wants to start? You want to start, Sois?
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this so low as 2 out of 10, unfortunately. The reason it doesn't get a 1 is because the concept was cool with some cool ideas, and the actors really did the best they could with their characters.
Yeah, well, I think I wanted to give it a 2, but I think I'm going to give it a 1 anyways, because it was too much handle for anyone watching it. Just the jumping parts. I feel like it had good parts, but I almost wanted to give it a 0 because I never want to see this again ever. I even want to watch Thor over this. Almighty Thor.
Why are you complaining on 4? I thought that was
terrible.
4 is terrible.
Yeah, but I feel like, and I also feel like this could have been 2 cool movies instead of like 1 movie with 3 parts in it. Because I felt the first part where he is trying to win 30 games, that could have been 1 whole movie. If they have just fleshed it out a bit and made more exciting things happen during those fights, so he could just, and when he wins he gets home to his family, and that would have been cool. And I also think the part with the society game would have been a cool movie in of itself without the Slayers and everything else, because I thought that was pretty cool, but I could barely stand watching any of it. So I'm going to give it a 1.
Now, after reflecting on it afterwards, I was actually thinking that this would actually have been a really good episode of, Black Mirror on Netflix. Because it feels like the kind of concept that they would explore, and they would have done a much better job directing it.
Yeah, but they would have all said focused on one thing.
Yeah, they would have.
Try to keep it shorter too.
Yeah, point is that I think that on paper this is a really good movie with a good message about both technology and human nature. So because of that, I'm a bit more lenient on than you, but execution camera work ruins the movie most part. So in the end I give it 3 out of 10.
But I've never had a movie where I just sitting there thinking, hoping it would be over, and I watched at the time, it's a 90-minute movie, and like 40 minutes in I checked how much time was left, and it was almost an hour, and I don't know, I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah. For me, as I said, I have decided already after 15 minutes because I wanted it to be over. For me, it's like it doesn't matter how much of budget you have, how good of actors you have, how good of CGI or effects you have, how good of a plot you have. If you can't watch the movie, it's basically that. So for me, it's a clear 1. I want to give it a 0, but I don't know if we have from 0 to 10, or is it 1 to 10? Is it 1?
If you want to give it a 0, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, because it's basically this. If you can't watch the movie, then
what's the point?
You watch the point. It's okay. Then I give it a 0. It's the worst movie I have ever seen.
I mean, I get what you're saying. You're saying that you can have a really good cake, like make it properly, best ingredients, everything, and then when it's done, you cover it in dog shit.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter how good cake is under it, because still a cake covered in dog shit.
Well, yeah, I see your point, but the reason I gave it 2 is because, like we mentioned earlier, some things were actually good, but were just ruined by the things that were bad.
Yeah. We have.
So everyone gave it from 0 to 3, so
so that's not so good.
Don't watch this movie.
No, the average from us is not good, so don't.
No.
Okay, thank you for listening, and thank you for not seeing this movie.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.